Bentley's electrification effort finally takes in its core two-door GT coupe. Exotic to plus to sporting coupes hardly come any more different than the Bentley Continental GT and the Porsche 911, and yet Cruise seems to be following Stuttgart's philosophy as it develops its modern luxury grand tour into its third decade. Just as all new model generations of the Porsche can be considered in pairs, the 2000 for 997 being a technical development of the 996. Ditto the 2019 992 of the 991, Continental GTs have developed similarly. The second generation GT of 2011 refined and improved the chassis of the 2003 original, and now the fourth generation has refined and improved the Porsche-developed platform and body of the third. When, in 2023, Crew announced the end of production of the W12 engine that powered the GT for so long, we all knew major change for the Continental series must be afoot. That change now manifests itself as the first plug-in hybrid Continental coupe that Bentley has made, and also its most powerful GT yet, the Bentley Continental GT Speed Hybrid. The car has taken on a new electronic architecture to facilitate that underbonnet change. Features a new active suspension system which, it's claimed, extends its dynamic repertoire, and gets quite widely revised exterior styling and cabin technology. The former intended to sprinkle some of the stardust of the firm's ultra-rare limited series cars, the Bachelor and Batcher, on this series production model. Design and styling. The easiest way to tell this fourth-generation Continental GT from its predecessors is literally staring you in the face. This is the first time since the 1950s that Bentley has dispensed with a quartet of headlights for a series production model. The new GT's twin lamps have integrated eyebrow-running lights and different internal designs depending on the model. For now there are two of those, the GT Speed and GT Mulliner, both using the same new hybridized 4.0-liter twin-turbo V8 powertrain. The material differences between the pair mostly concern body trim, wheel design, equipment level, and cabin specification. A less powerful, high-performance PHEV will slot into the lineup later at a lower price point, taking the place of the normal, sub-speed GT derivatives. Meanwhile, this is also the first time a convertible Continental GTC has been launched at the same time as its fixed-head peer. The GT Speed adopts new-to-chamber active air suspension. The third-generation car had a three-chamber system augmented with new twin-valve adaptive dampers. It continues with a clutch-based active four-wheel drive system and a torque vectoring active rear differential, as well as with Bentley Dynamic Drive active anti-roll bars and four-wheel steering, although it isn't yet clear how many of those systems will also appear on the cheaper Continental GT high-performance hybrid. Bentley's newest hybrid powertrain, meanwhile, is already known to us from the Porsche Panamera Turbo SE Hybrid, and produces the same total system outputs of 770 HP and 738 pounds-feet. Only Lamborghini has conjured more power from the same hardware for its latest Urus SE PHEV. The hybrid system is actually composed of a different V8 than appeared in the third-generation GT, running without cylinder deactivation and using twin monoscroll rather than twin-scroll turbos. Neither technology is necessary because of the influence of the 188 bhp, 332 pounds-feet permanent magnet synchronous motor mounted upstream of the 8-speed dual-clutch automatic gearbox. It can power the car all by itself for an official electric range of up to 50 miles, or torque fill for any latency in engine response when running in tandem with the V8. The motor draws power from a 25.9 kilowatt-hours drive battery carried under the boot floor. It's more typical for manufacturers to package these things within a car's wheelbase, but Bentley is instead using new technology to address an old problem here: weight distribution. The GT has always had a slightly nose-heavier portion of this, which more recent generations have only mitigated. The last W12 GT Speed's weight was distributed 54 to 46 on our scales, AGT CV8S of 2023 52 to 48. The new GT Speed Hybrid has an as-tested weight distribution of 49 to 51, so in one sense it has cured the malaise. But, predictably, it has also added to Cru's perennial, overarching weight problem. Our test car weighed 2,460 kilograms with half a tank of fuel, 183 kilograms more than the last W12 engine GT Speed we tested in 2021. To look at it another way, the car's homologated standard curb weight is within 100 kilograms of the Porsche Panamera Turbo SE Hybrid mentioned earlier, and that may not make it seem like such a burden. But only the driving experience will really tell. Interior. There is something particularly enticing about the cabin ambience that results when a manufacturer like Bentley, a habitual provider of opulent luxury in painstaking handmade terms, embarks on a rousing performance treatment. Precisely because it doesn't seek to save weight or compromise on richness, it can end up creating a reel of sense of occasion and a boldness beyond its usual brief. Somehow you get more of everything, less of nothing. The cabin of the new Continental GT Speed feels a lot like that. Its layout is very familiar because, while some of the materials used have changed, and the car's display and multimedia technology has been upgraded, this is fundamentally the same cockpit that the third-generation GT had. And so it's lavishly finished, enveloping and comfortable, and traditional in as many ways as it is progressive. Our first edition test car has Bentley's optional top-level massage seats, both heated and ventilated, with postural adjustment, pneumatic pockets under your backside and back. As ever in a Bentley, they don't quite let you sit fully sports car low, because crew prefers its own compromise on visibility and ease of access. They're a little slim in the backrest, but not at all aggressively bolstered, and very comfortable over distance. A generous number of physical secondary controls are provided on the center console, while the metallic finish on the organ stop vent shutters, column stocks and steering wheel spoke knobs really does feel as authentic as it looks. Second row passenger space is unchanged. It's generous for a +2, but taller adults won't want to sit there, and there's only room for 2, with oddman storage in between. Boot space is reduced. The 800mm of loading length in the third-generation GT comes down to a 730mm maximum, presumably with hybrid-specific systems, taking up some room. There's enough cargo space left over for one larger suitcase or a couple of smaller ones, but no longer enough to call this a generous touring load, by modern GT class standards. The GT's 12.3 and multimedia displays layout, appearance, and usability regime have all changed. There's still a toolbar of shortcuts on the right margin of the screen, but there are also lots of physical, hard keys underneath it and on the center console that make adjusting something from ADAS functions to radio stations rarely more than a simple 2 or 3-stage process. There are also particularly tactile, knurled physical heater controls. You don't get Bentley's rotating infotainment